Fellas, ladies, you looking for lotions? You looking for beard oils? But unfortunately, everything you get from mainstream got chemicals in it and they're probably killing you? No problem, we got you. Go check out my people from Top to Bottom Hair and Skincare. That's Top to Bottom Hair and Skincare. www.top2bottom, BOTTU, the U is for unique, M.com. Tell them I sent you.
Hey, what's up, y'all? How y'all doing? How you doing? Welcome again to Ron's Opinion Don't Matter on the OG Network. Hopefully, y'all having a blessed, wonderful day. Hopefully, all is well. Hopefully, God is good in your life, and I'm sure He is if you have a relationship with Him. And that's real talk. Man, it's a beautiful day. A whole lot beautiful day. I know everybody who invests in the stock market seen not too long ago when Trump mentioned tariffs. And the market definitely react to it. Things went down. Things went, whatever, because they was afraid that stuff. Oh well, it's gonna happen. And of course, me myself being patient, waiting for the right moment, went in, made some moves, and positioned myself a little bit better than I already was. And so far, so good. So far, so good. I mean, of course, not with crypto. Crypto is a different animal. You have to really exercise extreme patience with cryptocurrency. But I do have my positions in them, and I'm gonna hold. And every once in a while, when I see it, I just take a little bit of change and I dump it there, and we'll see what happens down the road. And if it doesn't, if it goes bad, it goes bad. Of course, I'm not a financial advisor. Anything that I say is not for anybody to do anything. It's for me, myself, and I. Because that's how I invest. I invest mostly in dividend stocks for those that follow my channel. Those that don't, that's where I usually invest it. Most of my investments are in dividend stock. That's what I like. I like the income. I like the fact. I like the fact that it provides an income. I love that factor in there. I'm extremely diversified, and and I'm willing to take what risk comes with that, and I'm okay with the risk. So usually when I talk about investing, that's what I usually talk about is where I'm investing at, what I have already invested in. If I intend to buy more, rarely do I sell. I mostly buy. And then I just collect dividends and collect dividends. If you want to live, please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. I appreciate it very much. Also, if you are looking for wonderfully made hair care and skincare products, and make sure y'all check out Top to Bottom Hair and Skincare Products. They are giving out 15% discount on all your purchases of $35 and up. If you put in the promo code OG Network, that's OG Network 26. That's the promo code OG Network 26. You'll get 15% off of your purchases of $35 and up. And if you're not sure, you can always go check out the website. The website is right here on Ron's Opinion Don't Matter, OG Network channel. You look right there on the website, you'll be able to click the link and it'll take you right to the store. And we're going to move on from there. Make sure y'all hitting the like button. Make sure y'all hitting the subscribe button. Appreciate it very much. Some of my investments don't pay dividends. Some of them don't. And some of them I'm getting my behind handed to me. Like, I give y'all an instance, Webull. Webull is a stock that I have a position in that don't pay dividends. If you don't know what Webull is an investment platform, kind of like Robinhood. You got Webull and some of the other ones. I think Kraken or some other ones they got out there. So I have stock in the actual company, Webull. And right now I'm down in the red really bad. But for me personally, I still will keep up in my position little by little as I can. Am I percentage wise? Let me just look at this percentage wise. I am down 23% based off of what I have invested in there and how far it's down, which is cool. And some people look at that and say, "Oh, I'm losing money. Yeah, but there's always an opportunity. For me, I might just have to keep repositioning myself even better, and we'll see where it goes down the road. Hey, if I lose all the money I have invested in, stuff happens. You know what I mean? I've been doing this so long that I'm not saying I can't lose, but for the most part, I've been winning by far more than I ever lost. You know what I mean? So I am not complaining, not by any means am I complaining, because complaining doesn't fix anything, but decisions sometimes do. And that's real talk. And one thing I know I never understood about sometimes with people, they love to complain. That's real talk. And sometimes people really love to complain. They can't see nothing positive in anything. And I don't understand. I never understood that, but it just everybody got we all got problems. I mean, and sometimes you can take and you can attack your problems, trying to solve your problems, trying to bring a resolution to your problems. But sometimes you got to sit back and ask yourself a question, and you got to say to yourself, "Okay, yeah, I got things happening negative. This is why I just on a little bit of side note. This is why sometimes you have to be careful who you hang around when someone's extremely negative about everything. And this is the reason why I always say I try to distance myself from people that have a negative mentality, everything negative, negative, negative. And how you know if you are a person that's consumed by negativity. And I'm gonna get back into investments in a minute. How you know if you're a person consumed by a whole lot of negativity? This is one question you can ask yourself. If all my problems went away, like if every last problem that I have right now went away, what would I talk about? What would I talk about? If every problem that I had right now got solved, I had no more problems, then what I talk about? And if you really can't come up with nothing, that means that you are so consumed by all your problems and all your everything negative, negative, negative. If everything negative in your life went away, what would you talk about? And if you don't have nothing to talk about at that point, then you know that maybe you are contributing too much and you're too focused on all of the negatives in your life. You can't even talk about nothing else. Either it's negative in your life, negative in somebody else's life, and stuff like that, and you can't even focus beyond that because you can't find nothing else to talk about unless it's negative. And that's how you know that maybe you need to change your mindset. Maybe you need to change your behavior. Maybe you should actually change your mindset. What's up, Tom? How you doing? 1234. How's it going? Trump baby. Yeah. So my thing is this: is that so again, negative. Get that negative energy out of your way. Now, see, Sean, somebody else look at that and say, he said, I got shit to talk about. At the end of the day, because we know what Sean do for a living, his business, he gonna always have some shit to talk about. Matter of fact, if Sean stopped talking about shit, business is bad. That's the crazy part. So, kudos to Sean. I mean, hopefully business is doing well for you, brother. Hopefully y'all are good. If anybody looking for, somebody in his area, whatever the case may be, you looking for somebody to come clean up that dog poo, there you go. We have a new sheriff in town. His name is Donald Trump. I ain't gonna say new, because Trump he's been there a while now. You can't call him new, but I get what your point. I mean, I get your point with it, but can't call him new because he's been there for a while. And if you look at Trump in his second term compared to his first term, he definitely ain't new because it's a whole different Trump. And I'm not saying that his first term was bad, but his second term, you can clearly see that all the rookie rust. He ain't no rookie at it no more. He might was a rookie in the first beginning, was trying to feel his way through everything. But second term, he was one after another. But honestly speaking, even if you bring that into the fact that this is why, as much as people hate the guy and as much as other people love the guy, the one thing you have to respect about Trump is that he likes to look at the positives. He tried not to focus so much on negative stuff. And if you really listen to him, he's one of those people who's like, okay, we did it, we accomplished it, let's move on to the next accomplishment. We did it, we done it, let's move on to the next accomplishment. He kind of has that mentality. You know what I mean? So you have to respect that. You know what I mean? Like people, negative people, again, they're gonna always find a reason. And here's the reason why I say this is because a lot of times when you see something negative happening in the stock market, go find out why it's happening. You see something negative happening in investment, find out why it's happening. Do a real assessment in the investment that you're making to make sure that you might be getting out of something that down the road is going to probably change it to a better situation. You get what I'm saying? It'll probably turn around and turn into a better situation if you can stomach it long enough. So sometimes it's probably better to just ride it out when it comes to your investment. So even though some of mine are in the negative, I got a lot of stuff that's in the positive. I got the investments that's doing extremely well, some not so good, but that's cool. I don't look at it from a negative. I go back, do my homework, see what's going on, say, you know what? This might turn out to be a better thing more than anything. So I'm good with that. All right, who is this person? See, this is what I mean by focus on the negative. This is exactly what I mean by when people focus on the negative. No matter how much positive has came out this administration, you know what he said? End war day one. See what I'm saying? So economy doing well, people's 401ks are up, gas prices have come down, all types of stuff, borders secure, tariffs on company, the tariffs that he put on other countries are actually beneficial financially to America. What did this person focus on? In Ukraine war. This is what I mean by if you have a negative mentality, you're gonna miss all the good stuff because you don't care about that. None of that stuff, man. You can save 1,000 lives and one person died. This type of person who is fresh, whatever isn't that fresh lease, is going to say, why you didn't save that other person? This is what they're gonna look at. They're not going to look at the 1,000 lives you saved. They're going to look at the one person that actually died. Gas prices are down extremely from what they was. They don't care about that. I buy gas all the time, especially because I drive a diesel truck. Gas prices is down for me. That means I get to get my miles out of my vehicle based on the gas and I'm getting money back in my pocket, right? So I don't get that part. Tariffs. Because of tariffs, Americans might receive a best tax return that they actually ever had in a long time. There's even a good possibility that you might get a check out of this. But not this person. You know what they're worrying about? Tariffs. Tariffs don't affect American citizens. They affect the other countries. But again, because they don't understand how tariffs work, they want to focus on that. Then he says, here's the other one. What positive? All right, so let's get into that. Positive. I voted for Trump to close the border. It's closed. They ain't coming over here no more. I want him to get these illegal immigrants out of here, especially the rapists, murderers, and thieves. We got enough of our own. We don't need nobody else's. Gone. Getting them out of here. So again, how does it, again, they're not going to focus on none of these positives. I had a person tell me they went to go get some drugs. I mean, some medical drugs at the thing, and they thought they was going to have to pay a lot more money. It was actually cheaper. Wow. Imagine that. But again, cost of living, some fluctuate down. Then they're going to bring in unemployment. This is what tells, all right, let's go to the next statement that they made. Hey, Joyce, how you doing? God bless you. Welcome in. The next one. Economy is doing bad. This tells me that the person have no idea what the economy bad. Not only is the economy doing bad, doing good for America, guess what? Other countries, the economy is actually doing better. Even though I really don't care. I'm American. I want to hear right here in my country. But again, tariffs can mean the end of income tax. Which, Joyce, if enough of it comes in, that's positive. That's great. Then he says, high unemployment. First of all, if you ever paid attention, all of the people they got rid of out of government explains the unemployment situation. So I already knew that was going to happen. And I'm glad that it's happening because that means that we are cleaning up government and we're getting rid of these dumb jobs that are not supposed to be here, that we're not supposed to have. And government should be ran clean, cut, and efficient, not having all these unnecessary programs, unnecessary jobs to people that don't have. Yes, it should go to, it's not in the private sector. Again, cost of living everywhere else. These are all just in his head. Everybody else is benefiting. This is just in his head. He said, I don't know how tariffs work. Let me give it to you in elementary form, how tariffs works. Let's just say, Fresh, you own land, right? And on your land, you decide to start a flea market, right? But if anybody decided to come to your flea market and they want to do business on your flea market, should they be able to set up and sell stuff on your flea market for free? No. You're going to charge them a fee. That's how tariffs work. No other way. And it's up to the people individually wise, based on the amount of money that you charge them to do business on your land, is going to determine the factor of how much they're going to apply that to the consumer. That's it. That's about as elementary as it can get. But let's move on. Not interested in criminals. See, this is where I know you don't know what you're talking about. You just want something to say. You want attention. I'm gonna give you some. Not interested in criminals. So all of the rapists that got pulled out of this country. See, this is where I tell you these people don't care about what happens to American citizens. All they care about is their hate for Trump. Because I'm watching rapists being picked up, murderers being picked up, people that should have never been in this country in general, but yet they rather talk about Trump. They want these people here. They love them. They have an infatuation for these liars and these thieves and these corrupt people and these illegal immigrants. They love that stuff. Can any one of y'all get a job? That's not how terrorists work. Well, it's working for me. Can I call in respectfully? Here's the thing. I can let you come in and I'll let you state your claim. If I can't see your face, you can't come in on my show. I'll put the link in there, but if I don't see your face, you can't come in on my show. Yeah, I mean, that's, and like I said, I gave you an elementary form. Joyce, what's going on, Joyce? I gave you an elementary form because a lot of times people always want to say this and that and whatever case may be. All right, there's a link. And I'll let you state your case, and I'm going to let you have your space. You click the link. I see who you are. I'll let you have your space. I'm not even going to interrupt you. OG Kicks, what's going on, man? God bless you. God bless you. The link is in the chat right there. And if you do, you click it. If I see who you are and I can see your face, I'll let you in on my show. If I can't see your face, I can't do it. And I usually don't do that. I usually don't let nobody on my show unless I knew you. But today I'm being nice. But the show isn't really about that. But I'll let you state your claim. That way you don't have to sit there and type and stuff like that. My show today really is technically about investing and stuff like that. And here's the thing. For my investments, and this is the reason why I say you got to pay attention to what they're doing as opposed to just listening. Listen to what they say and watch how things are moving. And since this all kind of really got into play, my investments are up easily 20%. And that's on the low end. That's on the low end. Not on the high end. That's on the low end. What's up, Mental Raccoon? How you doing, brother? God bless you. God bless you. Make sure y'all hitting that like button. Make sure y'all hit the subscribe button. Appreciate it very, very much. And that's real talk. But yeah, my investments are up pretty good. Yeah, I hope you're having a blessed day too, man. I want to get a chance to go through your channel and see all you doing, whatever, man. Very, very creative, man. Real talk, real talk. If you don't know who Mental Raccoon is, y'all go check out his channel. He's very, very creative, man. And he does a lot of glass work, and it's intriguing to watch, man. He's very, very good at what he does. Y'all should check out his channel. I mean, it's very far different from what I do here, but he's definitely very real talented. You know what I mean, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I've been giving this a whole lot of thought, and there are gonna be times when I'm gonna start letting people in on my show. When I get a time, and this was a crazy week for me, and that's real talk. And there are times that I'm gonna let people in on my show, and if they, as long as they can be respectful, and as long as they can, like, I'm not trying to tell you what the like. Be respectful. I'm not trying to tell you where you have to stand. You don't have to agree with me. That's my whole point. I don't need you to actually agree with my political stance. That's mine, and you have yours. And I'll let you get in here and state your claim, or make your statement or whatever. But if I can't see your face, you can't come on my show. But I have a problem with that. Like I always tell people, I say you don't have to agree with me, and it's not about my part. You know, you don't have to agree with me, but you just have to do it respectfully. But again, back to investments and stuff like that. Let me get back to what I was talking about um, because my point is that most of my investments have done very, very well, and there's some that maybe outperform the other ones. Um, I usually when I'm doing my Friday show, I usually try to put in the chat some of the things that I'm already investing in. I don't really think this is a good day for buying, so I didn't really do all of that. I usually leave all of that out. Hey Lisa, how you doing? God bless you. Welcome, welcome, welcome in. Before you leave, hit the like button. What's going on, Josh? Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Make sure y'all hitting the like button. Make sure y'all hit the subscribe button. Welcome back. Can you hear me, Josh? I'm sorry. All right, we got a guest. Hold on. Give me a second, y'all, so I can get him up. What's going on, bro? How you feeling? Can you
Good.
hear
How
me?
are you?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah,
All
you
right,
hear
cool.
me okay?
Yeah, I hear you. Got you.
Okay,
What's
cool.
up, man? How's it going?
It's going all right. Not bad.
That's what's up, man.
Friday. You know what I mean? End of the week,
All right.
How are you?
I'm chilling. I'm chilling. Just trying to go through the chat. It
Okay.
gets crazy, but go ahead, man. I'm gonna let you have the floor, man. I'm not gonna interrupt you. I'm gonna let you have the floor, and then you go ahead.
Well, I'm hoping to have it back and forth. I don't want to. I'm not trying to have like a soliloquy. Like I'm actually interested in
Yeah.
um having a discourse with you because I appreciate the fact that you even have me up. I think that's a very respectful thing to do, and I'm hoping to have a dialogue and
That's cool.
talk through why I think your ideas are slightly misguided, and
Okay.
I think you're misrepresenting things that I think can easily be debunked. And
Okay.
I just want to have an open conversation about why
Yeah,
I
we
feel
cool.
the way.
Listen, I'm cool with that. Like, I'm cool with
Okay.
that, and that's why I just want you to understand that this is not an attack show. This is
Okay.
for
I'm
us
not
to be
attacking
able to
you.
have a dialogue, right? For us
I'm
to
not
be able to
attacking
have
you.
a dialogue,
Yeah.
and let you state your claim, and that's cool. I
All
think
right. Cool.
I think from what I consider a common sense perspective. I don't
Okay.
um at the end of the day, I've been in business for myself. I've done a lot of things in my lifetime. I'm heavy in the stock market as much as I possibly can. I've been in real estate and stuff like that. So a lot of my perspective are just common sense. It ain't got nothing to do so much with, oh, I ride with this political party hard, even though I don't like Democrats. Like at this point, I don't. But historically wise, let me finish. Historically wise, I've always voted Democrat. A
Okay.
lot of my a lot of my political stands have changed within the last couple of years. So we
Okay.
go with that. But go ahead, man.
Look, I share a lot of your history. Like I see a lot of myself in you. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah, it's
I'm not in the stock market. Like I think the fact that you're in the stock market heavy, that's like a very small percentage of Americans. I think there's only like
yeah,
5% of all Americans that are actually invested in the stock market. Most people have to work. I work day to
yeah.
day. You know what I
I
mean? I
think
work a couple jobs to make ends meet. You
yeah,
know, the fact that like I think a lot of people in the United States are struggling to make ends meet on a regular basis. And I made a comment earlier about like Zoran Mamdani. I'm a New Yorker,
okay,
and affordability was the name of the game. Donald Trump is out here saying that affordability isn't a real thing, even though during his campaign, that's all he talked about. He was
Right.
talking about the forgotten American man, about all the about all the industries that have died in America because we've outsourced them to other countries. And the reality is that most Americans are working, to barely make ends meet. And whatever the typical American um, dream, that
Uh-huh.
what it used to be is so
Right.
far out of reach for people in the millennial generation
Okay.
and Gen Alpha that are working multiple jobs, that are working hard and doing their best to make ends meet. And it's not enough. And Donald Trump hasn't done anything. He hasn't suggested anything. He hasn't addressed any of those, like these America First ideas that I think that are core to the reason why Donald Trump made it in the first place. I used to be a Democrat too. I personally hate Democrats. I don't like Joe Biden. I think the fact that the Democratic Party lied to
Mm,
Americans about his competency
right.
and his ability to lead and a host of things that were wrong at the time
Right.
is the same mistake that Donald Trump is currently making right now. Donald Trump is saying that the economy is good while unemployment is is up crazy. He's not addressing all the joblessness and unemployment from AI. There's a host of things that are happening. The tariffs themselves have caused a ton of turmoil in the stock market. The idea that Donald Trump's practices and policies are good for America, I think are inconsistent with, like, I think what people are actually feeling. And I have a problem with not saying in the same way that I had a problem with not saying when Joe Biden was president. Like the fact that these people are just using our our identities to claim that things are good while they're getting rich. And Donald Trump has become a multi billionaire in the time that he's been president. I don't think anybody's ever been enriched as much as any one president has as Donald Trump has in the history of the presidency. I, and I bring up things like the Ukraine war because I think that was a proxy war that was started in order to funnel money to the war industry. The fact that we spent $300 billion on a war in a country that has literally no strategic or economic value to the United States is such a foolish endeavor when homelessness went up by 18% under Joe Biden. Why aren't we doing things that actually address homelessness right here in the United States? Why aren't we doing things that reinvest in our infrastructure right here in the United States? Simple things that
Mhm.
Donald Trump has pretended to care about. And
Sure.
I don't think that's cool. I don't think it's sufficient to just go along with somebody that's so putrid and so vile and so evil as to ignore all these real American issues that are happening every single day that everybody can see. We can't go to a single U.S. State, a single U.S. city that doesn't have rampant homelessness, and that's not a Democrat thing. That is you go to almost any southern state, it's the same issue. Like we need to address the fact that the United States has not addressed um, like actual core issues for decades. And Donald Trump has been ignoring and at the forefront of that exact same just absolute negligence. And like we should be having those kinds of conversations because I think there's
No,
more people on the left and right that would agree with me than would say that everything's honky dory and that we should just keep on moving like things are just status quo. And that's the conversation that I want to be having.
let me address one thing.
Sure.
I agree that they need to be addressed. Let's go with that. This is the one thing I can say. I agree that all of those issues that you talk about do need to be addressed. The the part that I have to say is a little bit unfair because those problems have always been there. So we can't really say Donald Trump, but we can say Donald Trump still needs to address it. Now, you said you work two jobs, right? Right. Why do you work?
You know, why do I work?
Why do you work?
father. I live in America. There's no
Right. So
option to not work.
right. So you're not homeless.
No,
Why not?
because I have to work.
So you fixed your homelessness problem because you take care of you. So why would a politician be responsible for someone else's being homeless?
That's not how
It,
the
I would
court.
let,
I would I
hold
would
on,
I
hold
would
on, hold on.
respectfully.
I let you. Then
Okay.
I let you go. I let you talk. Right.
Mhm.
Then I let
I
you
thought you
talk.
were asking me. I thought you were asking me a question, but
Right.
okay.
Right.
All right.
I'm just saying. My point is this: is that you get up and you go to
Hmm.
work. You're providing for you and your family, which is exactly. Listen, I have nothing but respect for you. So this is not an argument. I'm trying to make a point. You are the example of what anyone else, let me finish. You are the example of what anyone else can do for their life. Here's the thing. I grew up in the city of Philadelphia, right?
I'm from Philadelphia as well.
I grew up extremely poor.
Hmm.
Poor. Like when I say poor, we was poor. And so, but when I learned as at the age of 11, 12 years old that if I did something for people of value, they would pay me for it, right? Here's the thing. Now, what I would say is this is that where I grew up, we lacked information or access. That I do agree with. We lacked information and we lacked access. If I was to sit back and wait for someone else to do something for me when I can do it myself, all I need y'all to do is get out of my way. I can do it myself. Let me finish, and I'm only on trying to address the one issue of as an individual that's homeless. I'm not talking about none of the other stuff you're saying. I'm just talking about the homeless people that are homeless. And I'm not saying everybody. There are a lot of people that are homeless because they chose to be. You get what I'm saying? They refuse to do. Listen, I know you may feel sorry for people, but I talk to people that are
No,
homeless. Let me finish.
no. The majority of people that are homeless are children. That's the majority of people that are homeless. If you're
That's
looking at the
not
population, I promise you, I study this extensively. The increase in homelessness under Joe Biden, 18%, nearly 20% of people that used to be housed were
mhm.
families, people with children,
Now.
kids.
Let me
Like
ask you a question.
what you're saying is factually incorrect. Respectfully. Homelessness is not a choice. That's an economic situation. The fact that in the 1950s, a single family, a single worker could afford a home, a car, college is a direct reflection of the cost of living. That is what we're talking about. When we
Right.
subsidize the cost of living for people, when we address economic needs, material needs of people, we address crime, we address a bunch of other social ills that we don't even talk about. So we end up
Now,
spending billions of dollars on all these ancillary issues
now here's the
rather than
thing.
addressing these core problems.
Now here's the thing. Again, if you was again, let me ask you again. When I say homelessness, you didn't hear what I said. I
Okay.
said the people that choose to be homeless. There are people out there that choose to be homeless. I'm not talking about kids. I'm talking about choices. You get what I'm saying? Now, when I said to you that when I was 12 years old, I found out that if I did something for people, they would pay me, right? I never said I was an adult, did I? I didn't mention adult. You brought in the child part. I did not bring in it. I said when I was 12 years old. You get what I'm saying? My point is, let me finish. My point is
Uh,
this is that we as an human, as an adult, most of us as an adult. Now I had to do that as a kid. And I realized that, oh snap, if I did this, if I learned how to do this, if I learned how to fix, repair, build, repair, do all this stuff for people, they will pay me. Even if it means sweeping somebody's sidewalk, they will actually give me a couple of dollars for that. Now, when I got that money, guess what I did? I took that money home and I helped the home. You get what I'm saying? So I realized as a young man, let me finish. I realized as a young man that all I had to do was provide something of value to someone else that had the money or the money to pay me to replace it. I'm not saying that everybody has to get out there and go out there and do this stuff. What I'm saying is that as a young man, as an individual, I understood the concept. that I could actually do. I can actually fix the issue if I get out there and I work for it. You get what I'm saying? Now, again, when people start talking about economy, right? This is the reason why I have my channel and I talk about investing. And you said most people don't do that. Whose fault is it if they don't invest?
Everybody doesn't have the money to invest.
Let me
And
explain. All right, let me put it to you like this. People say that, but a lot of
no,
times people spend. Let me finish. A lot of times people will spend their stuff on frivolous things, right? I can be on my channel. Let me finish because I'm trying. Listen, I'm trying to help anybody that's on this channel that want to understand what I'm getting ready to go at. I'm helping you financially to get out of your situation, regardless of what political stance you have, who you like, don't like. This is the reason why I pay attention to what's going on a regular basis, right? Do you pay electric bill? Do you pay a gas bill?
no,
No. Do you pay a mortgage?
no. All right.
Right. So your home is paid for. You don't have credit cards and stuff like that.
Nope.
Right. All right. So you're in a better financial system than most people.
Well, I'll just say this, that something like 40 or 50% of Americans can't afford a $400 emergency. Like, we have a large population of Americans that are choosing between purchasing their medicine or buying food for the month. You
Okay.
know, like when we have conversations about, I think the reason why such a small population of people are investing is because a lot of people don't have disposable income.
You
Like,
know more
you have
people
people,
invest than you know.
only like 6% of the population of Americans
It's
invest.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
It's a very small
It's way
population.
more than that. It's just that most people don't realize that they're doing it. Most people that work jobs got 401ks.
Yeah, I mean, but they're
That's
not
where you
actively,
your 401k is going into your invest. That's an
but
investment.
they're not. Well, I mean, they're not like retail investors. They're not getting a dividend at the end of the year. They're not, they're not
But
getting
again,
like,
it's here's the thing. When I started investing, guess how much money I had?
I don't know, $10.
Roughly maybe $200.
Okay, all right.
Right, right. So what I did was I took $200, right, and I said, you know what? I don't have a lot to work with. This is the reason why my channel is the way it is when I talk about investing and stuff. I said I don't have a lot to work with. I went educating myself. I put $1 in 200 different companies that I knew pay out dividends, right? And every
So
time I got $5, $2, $3, whatever I had that I didn't have to put to nothing else, I kept putting it into my companies, right?
I have.
Hold on, just hold on. I let you talk, didn't I? So just let me say this part. I'm not. I know the other part that you're talking about. This is something that helps people. I kept going and I kept going. I don't care if it was $1, $2, and stuff like that. I've been doing this for years. You know what I'm saying? So now, because I kept doing it, if I have to go get fuel for my vehicle, yeah, it comes out of my pocket. But because I own so much investment in the companies of gas, electric, and stuff like that, the money comes back to my investments. The money comes back to my investments. So if you own enough stock, this is what I'm trying to tell y'all. If you own enough stock in America in companies that pay out a dividends, if you gather up and obtain enough of it, you literally can offset your cost of living, and your cost of living will always go into your investment. Yes, you'll pay it at the pump, but it'll come back in a dividend. Yes, you'll pay to the electric company, but it'll come back to the dividend. Yes, you'll pay it to the electric water company, but it'll come back in a dividend. Yes, you will pay it to the mortgage company. But if you own all the mortgage company, instead of leaving your money in the bank, buy the bank. Instead of leaving your money in Apple, buy Apple. Instead of buying the phone, buy Apple. Instead of buying the car, buy the stock. These companies pay out dividends. If you keep doing that, eventually you'll have so much money coming in more than what goes out. That's all I'm saying. So you can address,
I was.
my point is you can address your own financial mishap over time. That's my point. Go
I,
ahead.
and I'm just making the argument that we lived in a time in America where a single provider could afford a house, a car, and college for their kids, and that we no longer are in this bygone era in America where this is possible, where we need two active people working in the household, and that this idea that people have this disposable income to take a chance on the stock market and hopefully get a dividend is not realistic for just everybody. And it's not to say that this is not a it's not a good thing to invest in and to be financially and fiscally aware. You know, I used to work for a hedge fund. I'm very, very, you know, knowledgeable
Probably
about the
more knowledgeable
economy.
than I am.
I wouldn't even say that. I'm not active in trading in that now. But like I understand that the market for people to play with the kind of money where they can have a soft life and not have to work for the money that they get is not most of America. And that we should be having a political conversation, particularly about like our leadership, that isn't addressing the reason that those things are happening. The
So
reason that
my
the cost of
question to
living
you is,
is so high. And
how
that's my point.
you can fix it? How
Is
would
that
you?
simply saying that? But I will argue for like a public bank. So like
Yeah.
we would have a public bank. So I turn the post office into public bank, for instance. So well, you wouldn't get all these you know, outrageous lending fees. We'd stop the speculative investing in the stock market that we currently have, which is very volatile. I'd make sure that people had jobs throughout, I'd have a universal work program. I'd have something like a universal child care program that would allow, because in New York we pay, when I got two kids and I was paying 13 no $1,400 a month in childcare. So I was working, like that money could easily be invested into other lucrative liquid things, other
Yeah.
assets.
Listen,
It would
I
stimulate the
agree.
economy.
Listen,
There's
I
so
agree with.
many.
I
Yeah,
agree with. I 100% agree with that type of stuff. My
right.
thing is this: is that what people fail to realize is this, and this is where, if you're a person that pays attention to the economy, the reason why daycare is so expensive is because government got involved. Now, I'm explaining to you why, and I know a lot of people don't like to hear this, is because they don't understand how this works. When you take out when we started subsidizing daycare, let me finish. When you started subsidizing daycare, because here's the thing: when I grew up, there was no daycares. You know who
Because
watched the kids in the neighborhood?
your mom,
My
your
mom.
grandmother,
Right,
people
right.
didn't
So
have to
listen,
work.
we
Yeah,
had daycares, but we had people in the community that would watch the children very, very cheaply.
right.
But the government saw an opportunity to control it and said, now, if you're going to open up a daycare, you got to have one adult for 8 kids. Who's going to pay that bill? The consumer, right? Because now I have to hire more bodies to manage children. That's just the way it is. But when government was, let me finish. When government wasn't involved, right? We didn't have an issue when it comes to the cost of daycare. That wasn't even a subject. It was
I
when government started trying to control it and tried to manage it and tried to subsidize it is where the cost of it went up. See, people don't realize it's government that causes the inflation. I know we don't all want to agree with me, but you just
That's not
said
true.
it.
That's not true.
So
Look,
you don't have
respectfully,
no family members that will watch your kids,
my mother-in-law has watched our kids from time to
right?
time. It's
Did she
been
charge
it's,
you
def- it's definitely
$1,400 a month?
no, it was a blessing for sure.
Right.
Let me give you my
Go
point of
ahead. No,
my
go ahead. I'm,
perspective.
I'm, I'm gonna let you rock. Go ahead.
So during World War II, we had increase in worker demand. That's when women went into the workforce, into the labor force.
Which I
We needed.
disagree with, but that's my personal
Yeah, me
opinion.
too. I honestly, I would love if my wife could stay at home and stay with the kids and like raise our kids.
And
That's
it's
my
nothing
dream.
against women. Don't get me wrong.
No,
It's nothing
nothing.
against.
Me either. Me
I
either.
think
I
women
agree.
should, if they want to go out there and work, I get that. But see, again,
Right.
government saw opportunity.
Nah, but both. Look,
Let me
you
let me
know that
let me
those.
say this and go. And let me go ahead. The reason why the government saw opportunity is because what is America interested in? A large labor force, right? Because that's more tax revenue. So if they can
Right.
get all of the females to go out there and work for it, then it becomes a larger tax revenue for who? The government. So it's by design. But again,
Well,
they don't. I
all I'm
can't
saying is
blame
that.
Trump for that because that's not that got that way long time ago. But how do
Well, let
you
me let me
fix? Go
well
ahead. Go
let me
ahead.
give
I'm
you an
sorry.
example. Let me give you an example. Let me give you an example. So during World War II, the government needed a increase in labor force. So women had to start working in factories, right? But all
Right.
of a sudden, you had families that didn't have mothers at home to raise their kids. So so during the 1930s, we started a universal daycare center across the United States
Mm-hmm.
that paid for all the daycare for children. So
Where's the
for
money come from to pay for it?
it was through taxes. So we paid for all these things. So
So you're still
we
paying for
have
it. It's just coming out of your tax money.
exactly, but like the
So
idea
again,
is that
why do you
like
need it? Why can't
well
you
my
take
point
your own money and decide who you want to watch your kids and pay your bill? Why do they have to do that?
well because the idea is that it's subsidized. Right now it's a broken market. The people that are working for daycare don't make enough to really live. I mean it's an inexpensive it's not a well-paid job. And the actual market for it is actually huge. Like people have to go to work and their kids have to be someplace. So now like don't pay enough to the workers and the people that are paying out are paying like a third. Like, I'm paying pretty much rent where I live in New York.
Well,
Fourteen hundred
New
dollars a
York is a whole
month.
different animal, but
I'm just saying that's not even the highest I ever heard of it.
man,
My brother-in-law in Boston is paying something like 20. He was paying like $2,200 a month. Like it's ridiculous, right? So yeah, for something like that, it's absolutely affordable for the government to say, hey, it's absolutely something we could subsidize. We take a portion of your taxes instead of you paying it directly out of your pocket. You just we pay it, and then you get the benefit, and then we have a happy worker. We know that like everybody that's working has their kids taken care of. Right now, people are stressing out because they
the
can't
reason why people are
afford
stressing out,
help.
listen, taxes are not a good idea. I'm explaining to you why giving government tax money to do this is the reason why. Listen, me and you agree. We're just coming from two different angles,
I agree.
right?
But my
This
point is,
this is
yeah,
this is why I don't agree with that philosophy. Is this if the government was that responsible with your money, we wouldn't have a $37 trillion debt.
that's because
So
of
what's
war.
happening is here's the thing: what's happening with the government and the money that they have access to, none of it is doing what they say it's supposed to do. Government was never supposed to be this large. My thing is this: I think you're personally more responsible than the government will ever be with your money. If you was able to take home 95% of the money that you make every single day, you wouldn't need government for anything. Am I right?
I don't think so. I
Why
think
wouldn't
that because I think the things that we need collectively are things that the government needs to do. Like the internet would have never been created if the government didn't do it. Like a lot of the medicines that we
again,
have wouldn't have been
that's an
created.
incentivized for again when the government gets involved in stuff like that. You understand why
Mhm.
they do it? Is to incentivize a company to create job and a workforce, and that money is not always just given to them. What happens when that company goes into the point of development? They create more jobs, which create more revenue, create more tax revenue, and the government gets it all back in tax revenue. And
But
between the company
respectfully, but
and
respectfully,
the
I
people
think
that
we're
work.
at a po- but respectfully, I think we're at a point in our economy and society where the where capitalism has captured the government, and we're just funneling money to these corporations. They're not actually doing anything for the people. The things that we demand don't ever happen. You could say that like 80% of Americans all want universal health care, but it'll never get done because we have
I don't
a
want
health insurance
universal health
company.
care.
You may not want it, but something like
Explain
70%
to me why
or
I
eight
don't want
or
universal health
eight
care.
or 80% of Democrats want it. Something like 60% of Republicans want it. Like a large population of Americans want it. You
Let
may
me ask you a
specifically not
question.
want it,
Let me ask you
but
a
a
question.
lot of Americans want it.
Has anybody ever given you something of real quality for free?
It's not free. It's
Let me
tax
finish.
money.
No, no, no. Let me
It's not
finish.
free, but it's
I'm
not
asking
free.
you a question. Has anybody ever given you something of real quality for free?
Um, yes, I've gotten free things that I'm always shocked by. Like that was of
Right,
good
right.
quality. Yeah.
Now again, but most case, when you start talking about giving somebody something for free, you're going to sacrifice quality. My thing is this, and this, let me hold on, let me
Respectfully,
finish.
it's not free.
No,
It's
I didn't say
tax
it was free.
money.
What
I
I'm saying
know,
is
but
the
you
illusion. When I say free, it's the illusion of free. It's never free. There is no such thing as free. In order for anyone to get something free, understand where I'm going with this. In order for anybody to get something for free, you have to go back to slavery. Meaning you have to force somebody to build it for free, make it for free, educate for free. You have to force them to do it so you can hand it to another group of people for free. There is no such thing as free. Somebody got to do it.
so
Now, hold
do
on
you
one
think
second.
that firemen do you think firemen are poor quality? Police are poor quality? Post office is
Firemen,
poor quality?
here's the thing: firemen are something that we need.
Okay.
Now, again,
So
it's
why is
something that we
healthcare not that? So why is
huh?
healthcare not the same? So why is healthcare not
Now,
the same?
because here's the thing, and I'm not saying healthcare. When I say healthcare, is this the reason why I don't want what the government calls free healthcare is because whenever you get involved with free healthcare, you're going to sacrifice quality. Here's where we miss it as a consumer. You get what I'm saying? We don't understand the power of a consumer that we have. If someone has to compete for your dollar, if it's harder for them to get the dollar out of your pocket, guess what they're going to have to do? They're going to have to offer you more for you to want to spend your money with them. The government is just loosely throwing it out there. That's why we have the problem. Here's my point. If you
So
go
do
to
you
a
think
store,
then that
hold
a
on. If you go
fireman
to a
is of
store,
less quality because we don't pay them?
yeah, you look at all the healthcare centers that's in the hood.
No, do you think that a fireman is of less quality because we don't pay them?
We do
That
pay
was the
firemen.
question. I know that's my point. So why
But
could we not have doctors do the same thing? Why is that not the
because
same?
here's the
Why
thing.
cannot they? Why could we not consider them in the same vein?
Because
Like, there's
again, we're not going to
nothing.
hold them accountable. We're not
Why
going to
not?
hold them to that because we're already not doing it. If you look at all the healthcare centers that they do, government do actually have, like Planned Parenthood and all that stuff, it looks like a crap hole.
Because they don't have funding.
They do
They're
have
poor,
funding.
and they
No, you
don't,
know
and
what happens?
they're in poor neighborhoods.
This is where everybody misses at. They do have funding. Look at the paychecks of the people that work there.
I promise you, they're
They
not
got
well
all these
paid.
unnecessary person is in charge of this, making 6 and 7 figures all the time. By the time it actually hits the community, it's all summed up. Maybe 20 to 30% of that may hit the
Oh,
community. But
well,
again,
respectfully, the amount of money that's funneled out of the healthcare industry by insurance companies, that is an unnecessary expense to people. Insurance companies only make money when they deny claims, when people don't get service. You pay your premiums, and essentially you're paying money that should be going to your service, to the actual healthcare practitioners. Like what, like when you say
all right, so
that
let me ask you a question. When you say
when
that,
you say
then
yeah,
why the doctors don't own the buildings?
because they don't have enough money
So
collectively.
if I build a healthcare center, if I build a hospital, if I take my money
Hmm.
and build a hospital,
Hmm.
right? Should the doctor make more money than me? I took all the
Uh,
risks
why?
because I took what I have to build the hospital, right? So
Right.
who should make more money if I build the hospital?
See, you look at it as a profit, with a profit motive. I don't.
Again,
I look at it as I wouldn't say like I invested in a fire department, and every single fire that they put out, everybody needs to, like, I don't make it a toll road. That's how I look at a
because when
hospital.
you
I look at the problem with the healthcare industry is that you have people siphoning and parasitic to our healthcare industry. People that need services, that pay money, can't afford all the services that they need because you have people that are skimming money off the top. You got people taking money
why
out
would
of
you
the
trust
services
them?
that need. I'm
Why?
sorry.
My point is, you're saying exactly what I'm saying, but you're not understanding. Why would you trust them and not trust yourself to keep your own money to do what you want to do with your money? You
My
can't
point
trust.
is my point is that I'm already paying money into the healthcare industry. I'm already paying
But
money
if
to the
you
tax industry.
again, if
I'm
you're
paying
getting
money
all your
that
money,
is not going to the facilities. That's not going to
right?
the
That's my
healthcare
whole point.
practitioners.
We
Right.
don't
So
need them.
why am I paying healthcare insurance
That's
providers?
my
That's my
whole point.
point.
You don't
That's
need
my
them.
point.
If you had your money, if all your money was your money, and you decided
Right.
where you wanted to pay for, if you went to, here's what this question was posed to me amongst the family members.
Mhm.
And what I said to them was, I said, you do know that the Amish don't have health care.
Okay.
I said, this is where we all seem to miss it. We looking for the government for answer, and I don't trust government. How many family members would you say in your family as a whole, like outside of your home, like if you just give me a rough number of what you say in your family, rough wise, collectively, that y'all kind of communicate and close with each other?
I mean, I'm a little bit disengaged with my family at the moment, but like a couple of them, yeah.
All right, let's
Why?
just say, I'm gonna say a random number. Let's say there's 10 people, right, that you have in your family member that are good, responsible people, right?
Yeah.
What's so hard about y'all saying, listen, we're gonna have a trust fund, and in that
Mhm.
trust fund, we're gonna all put in there the amount of money that we would spend on healthcare instead of paying these insurance companies in there, and then we all fund that there. Wait a minute, let me finish. That it's going to collect an interest, right? It's going to have compound interest. You get what I'm saying? Now, if I
All
take
right.
that compound interest in there, and if anybody have a medical emergency or something that they really need, that we all
All right.
negotiate, we go back to the fund and say, okay, we need to take care of so and so.
All
That
right.
takes government out the way. You got, listen, I think every single American is responsible enough to do it on their own. I don't want government because I
You
know
just
what government's
described
going to do.
you just described the American the compact that America has with each other. Like the social structure of America is literally what you just described. Like we are Americans because we came here. We said that we collectively pay taxes, and that is what taxes is. The taxes is the trust fund. It is essentially
It's
the
supposed
pool
to
of
be.
money that's supposed to be.
All
And
right,
then
so
the
here's my
fact
point.
that the fact that
You had a
insurance
kid,
companies get in between that is the problem. That
right?
we
If
are
you
not
had a kid,
effectively executing that agreement. That is the problem.
right? So if you had somebody, right? Let's just say a relative, and they said, man, and you ask them to go to the store for, yo, I need you to do me a favor. Can you go to the store and bring me back some milk, eggs, and some cheese, right?
Mhm.
And they go to the store and come back. They ain't got no milk, they ain't got no eggs, and they ain't got no cheese. But they're
Right.
eating a candy bar, and they got let's, for the sake of joking, a bag of weed and some blunt and stuff, right?
Had a good afternoon.
Right, right, exactly. You say, well, bro, where's the egg, milk, and
Right,
cheese?
right,
Right? You're gonna ask
right,
the
right,
question like,
right.
I gave you $20 to go to the store for some
Tight.
egg, milk, and cheese. You come back. All right, so
Right.
all right, let's say you test the theory again. Say maybe I'm losing my mind. Maybe it's me. I give them another $20. How long you gonna keep
Right.
doing this?
Bro, I hear you. I agree with you. But
Right,
why
right. And that's why I say
that's
we
why I'm
overthink.
furious with America. That's why
Right,
I'm like,
right.
where is your
So
fucking
my
eggs and
thing is
cheese?
this: if the government over time has accumulated a $38 trillion deficit, I don't
Right.
want you. I don't trust you guys. None of your finance analysts, none of y'all, to do anything to right because the cost of living is still high and the United States deficit is still high. So who in Washington can you possibly trust to give more decisions or more control over your tax dollars? No,
Well,
give me
well,
mine. Let me show you I can make it work for myself. Is
well,
my point.
I'm saying that you're essentially saying that like I gotta that we have a perverse incentive with these corporations that is essentially doing what you're saying, that is siphoning money away from us rather than doing
Why
the
is we
things that
saying corporation?
we're claiming for. Yeah,
But where
because it's
y'all missing it
corporations,
at is that corporations can't do what politicians don't let them do. So you guys
right?
keep going
Because
to the
but they bought
corporation.
out because they
Right. Well,
bought out
by not
they
looking
bought
at
out
it again,
politicians because they
most
bought
of
out
these politicians
politicians,
are bought and paid for. Most of these
right?
lobbyists are going to the politicians and getting what they want. So
Right.
again, if you're working for your tax dollars and you see this continuously taking place, why would you still again want more of them to have control over? I don't want the trust fund. And listen, even if I take my money and go blow it somewhere, guess who made that choice? I did. So you're gonna work your behind off every day like you do. Try to provide for your family like you do. They're going to take a good chunk of your money and take it and do all the most irresponsible stuff they can and tell you we don't trust you with your own money to do right by yourself and your family. Meanwhile, you're doing it with less.
What I'm saying is that we can't be complacent with them doing the irresponsible thing. It is not.
I'm not.
It is not. What do you mean? Why not?
I'm not. I said
It is
I'm
not.
not.
It is
I said
not.
I'm
Oh
not.
no no.
I'm not.
I'm simply saying that it's not sufficient to live a life where we get taxed 37% of our income and we spend the next 50 years of our lives working to not have enough to retire on, to not have health care, to not be able to afford our kids to go to a decent school, for our neighbors to not have the medicine that they need. Like these are systematic social problems that are not just us. Like my kids go to a private school, but like I'm furious that my local public school doesn't has more than 25 kids in the classroom. That infuriates me. Like I live in a middle class neighborhood. Thank God. Like I live in a community that has you know a relatively affluent community around where I live, but it doesn't make any goddamn sense that that my neighborhood school has 30 kids in it. It's ridiculous. The fact that like people aren't furious about that is a problem to me. Like I don't get how we collectively have just disengaged with the way that our communities are run and where our money is allocated. That like
Because we
I
trust
actually
in the
feel
wrong
like I
people.
need to. I'm sorry.
We trust in the wrong people.
I agree, but that's my
Right.
point. I can't then like be saying that Donald Trump is doing everything he can and the economy is
That
good
is
and
what some
looking
people say.
around and looking around and pretending like I don't see what I see.
Does it
Like
take
it is
longer to
irres-
build? Does it take longer to build a house, or does it take longer to tear it down? Which one is faster?
I'm not trying to tear down no. I mean, like I
No,
think we do
I'm
need
not.
to tear
Listen,
down
I'm
all
not
this.
saying you are. I'm just giving an example. You can tear down a building faster than you can build it. Am I right?
What I'm saying is that what I see Donald Trump doing is the exact opposite of what you're claiming. Like he's not building up
All right. Let
anything.
me ask you a
There's
question.
not an investment. There's not a specific like you're saying that the economy is good, and I'm saying I see rampant
Well, I'm gonna be honest
job
with you.
layoffs.
You would really have to get out of New York to know that. New York is a different monster. Listen. I
I've
know
been in
you
a
might not agree with me, but New York is a different monster. New York and California is the two places that are different monsters than most places that you go. But here's my point to this: is that this when you got all of these companies right now investing in America and building things, that's not gonna happen overnight. That takes time. A lot of these jobs, I
But,
understand the
but
beauty.
where, but where, like, see, my problem is that he's willing to invest $40 billion into Argentina, into a competitor against our direct farmers, right? I think
Mhm,
last year was like a record year for
mhm.
Arkansas farmers committing suicide because of a lack of like farming investments. Where is the investment in the manufacturing
When it comes to
sector?
America and the farming before that, the reason why a lot of these farmers was losing money because the Biden administration was regulating them and telling them how to do stuff. They really went in there.
No,
Listen, I know. Listen, I live not too far from the Amish, and I'm telling you what's going on with them. That's the reason why the Amish in the state of Pennsylvania voted for Trump because they wanted to get all these the regulations away from them because the Biden administration sent all of these so-called environmentalists and people that think they know what they're talking about, the global warmers and all these other ones think they know what they're talking about and trying to tell people how to farm. Who's been doing it for years, generational wise. And I know people don't want to accept the stuff that's really, really happening behind the scenes. But here's what's happening is this. If you make it more costly for me to farm and then you control how I do it, all you're doing is creating more cost for me, and therefore there is no profit for me. So what ends up happening? It's the same thing with the manufacturing in America. There should be no reason why we can manufacture. You can get something from another country, take 35 days on a trailer, on a truck, off
that's
a trailer, off a truck, onto this, shipped here, by far cheaper than you get it right here. But in order to make it competitive right here, the first thing you have to do is get it back up and running.
okay.
That takes money. Let me explain. That takes money. Anybody that ever start a business, it's going to cost you more than you make. So that takes money. Now, the other thing is it takes it takes extreme productivity for that company to become profitable. The more profitable it becomes, then therefore you can possibly lower the cost. I agree with you. But the only way to fix that solution, the first thing you have to do is you got to discourage foreign trade. and encourage American productivity. Listen what I'm trying to tell you. The reason why you have to do it, because they can turn, if I don't make bread, and the only place I can get bread from is you. No one else is making bread but you. You get to determine how much I spend for that bread. No one else. But if there's 15 people making bread, and I'm the only consumer, right? And if I say, well, how much is your bread? And you say it's $2. And I go to them and they say, how much is your bread? Oh, it's $1.99. I go somewhere else, it's $1.89. So I'm going to keep going to get it from the $1.89 because now the 15 people had to compete for my dollar. We as consumers don't understand the power that we have. We are giving them, the corporations, the power because we're so programmed in how we shop and how we spend our money. If you want to take down Walmart, it's real easy. Stop buying. If you want to take down Target, it's real easy. Stop. Listen, I'm trying to tell you why the difference is this, is that if you stop spending your money with them, the more we are sent like this, going to one place shopping, right? Everybody doing it. I'm going to Amazon. So all the competitors go away. All the competitors for Walmart go away. All the competitors for Target go away. We are creating the environment by our shopping habits of who gets control and who don't.
I don't disagree that our spending habits have created the monsters that we have today, but it's also a monopoly. Like we have industry that has taken over the entirety and the majority of the market, and now we don't have many other options to buy the things and goods that we need. Like the problem with the capitalist model is that it only works with competition, like you're saying, right? Like
You're
if you
right.
had
That's the whole.
15,
That's how
but
it
we don't.
benefits the consumer. Listen, what I'm
But
trying
I'm
to tell
saying,
you.
but we, what I'm
Hear
saying,
what I'm
we
saying.
don't have. What I'm saying is that we
That's
don't
how it
have the
benefits the consumer.
competition, but we don't have the competition
You got a
that
Nike
we
jacket
need.
on, right?
Yeah,
And I know, I'm quite sure you probably like Nike product, right? But
sure,
there are people out there that like Adidas product,
sure.
right? But if Nike was the only one making product, that's a monopoly on that product, right?
All right.
The only way for them to monopolize that is if we keep going to the same place, getting all the stuff from the same place. But
What
if
I'm saying,
someone else, that's what I'm trying to tell you. If you see a need, right? If someone else is able to compete, that's where we have the control as consumers. I'm not saying it's going to be a beautiful thing, but again, when you go to work, when you get up and go to work, right? Your first day on the job, did they pay you?
no, I worked for like 2 weeks.
Right. So you had to trust that they had the money to pay you at the time of getting paid, right?
Sure.
Right. You took the risk of taking the job. You just automatically assumed that they was going to pay you and they was going to have the money.
Sure.
So why not apply that to investment?
I invest. I'm not a.
No, I'm not saying you. I'm not saying you. I'm saying my point is that if we know as consumers that we're spending our money in all of these different corporations and all of this stuff in there, instead of just being the person that's buying the product, be part of the ownership of it. That way you get the benefit. Listen, I'm sorry if I don't have a sympathetic for laziness. Because a lot of these people,
I don't.
I'm not talking about
disagree.
you. Listen, man,
No,
I'm
no,
not
no.
talking about you
You
because you
can.
work.
No, bro. I have been out of work long stretches of my life. I know
Me
what it
too.
is to be out of work. I know what it is to
I ain't gonna
struggle
say
to
out
kind
of
of make.
work. I've been off of a job, but I've never been out of work because I understood my father said one thing to me. He said, make sure you have more than one talent and be a master of it. That way, if one thing isn't working for you, you get up the next day and you put it to work. Here's my point today. I was in the
Uh,
construction field. Let me finish. I
okay.
was in the construction field, right? It went bad. It went real bad. I had to literally go into a whole nother mindset. Next thing you know, I'm out there detailing and washing cars in front of my home. You know why? Because I didn't let my pride to go in the way of what me being able to eat. Turns out the day that I did it, 3 weeks later, I was making more money doing that than I was doing construction.
I'll
Because
just
I
say
did not
this:
sit back and
in
wait
the
for
age,
someone to come rescue me.
it's not wait for anybody to rescue you. I think
No, I'm not
we're
saying
living in an
you. I'm
age.
not. Listen, what I'm trying to
No, no,
say
no.
is
I'm not. I'm not even. I'm not.
my
I'm not
point
taking
is
any.
this. Only in America that I know of that you can live. There is so much opportunity out there. And if someone's willing to go after it, they can make it.
What I'm saying
I
is,
can't sit back and watch everybody make it if I'm sitting there and making excuses of why I can't do it.
that's not what I'm
You
saying.
talking
I'm
about a
saying,
guy who grew up poor, did not have much, don't have none of the educational stuff that people keep talking about. But yet, I still work. I do
all right,
YouTube, but I still work.
okay. So
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm just giving an example. So we have something like a 11% unemployment rate right now. That's what I think they estimate right now.
A what?
11% of unemployment rate.
No,
I
it's not.
think
It's only 4.7.
no. I think the current stated unemployment is 4.7, but we're not talking about all the people that have been discouraged, have been in the labor market for longer than 6 months, and have not been able to find a job, that are no longer considered unemployed. They're not considered the long term unemployed from long before that. We have a lot of people in the labor market that are like couch surfing or underemployed, that are working part-time jobs. Like the actual estimated unemployment rate is something like 11-12%. All
Let me
right,
ask you
and
a
I,
question. You think all of that
and
goddamn
let me
based
just
off
finish. Let me
of
just finish. Let me just finish. Let me just finish. I'm
Go ahead.
respectful. That like we have a wealth of people that are capable of doing work that absolutely needs to be done here in America. Like and I'm in almost every single field. Like, why are we not employing and putting all those people to work? Like, we have a third of the population of China, right? You know what China did in order to become the manufacturing hub of the world? They had free education, technical education for a majority of their workers. I think it starts with the fact that we make every potential employable job some kind of another profit incentive. We make education this thing that is limited to either the smartest people or the people that have money. Like, we keep people out of
It's
work
not.
by
Let me
not
ask you a
but
question.
we keep people out of work by not investing in all these basic underlying things that we
Listen,
need a
there's
society
a
to
lot
have
about
in order to have industry. And
there's a
we
lot
don't
about
we
what this
don't
man has to
generate
do.
industry. We don't generate industry without having people that are educated, people that are very knowledgeable about the things that they do. Like, all these things are things that we need, and that our country has
All
the
right, so
capacity to do,
the
that
Trump
we just choose
administration,
not to do because it doesn't make a
so
specific
all of these
capitalist market
technology companies
money.
that's coming back to America, building in America to get ready to create these jobs in
What
America.
companies are coming back to America?
Wait, let
Name
me
two.
let
I
me
don't
finish.
know any names.
Right, a lot of these companies are starting to build back in America. Apple already decided they're going to do a lot of manufacturing, do a lot of stuff. Here
In
is that.
India.
Let me explain something. That is the very reason why you need tariffs, because you want. Let me explain to you why you need them. If I can get it cheaper from another country, I'm gonna keep doing it. The reason why you want tariffs is because if I make it more expensive for the companies to get it over to you, then the companies has to come build it in your country so that you can compete, because otherwise it's not financially worth it to them. This
Yeah,
is
but they're
exactly,
not.
let me finish.
But they're
This
not
is why
coming back
we
to
got
America.
here.
They went to India.
Listen,
They're going to Bangladesh. They're going
you're
to
not listening to me.
Taiwan.
This is why we are in this situation, because a long time ago we did that. We traded all of the stuff that we would did and manufactured and made and sent it everywhere else and made it complicated to do it here. So the first thing you have to do is you got to deregulate a lot of this unnecessary stuff. The second thing you have to do is you got to encourage people to build and make it right here at home. Because honestly speaking, from a provider perspective, I don't want to be I don't want all these countries being in control of what we get. I'd rather pay a little bit more here than to have it made here. I don't care about if it's more expensive. If it's better that I can get it here and put American workers a job. Here's my point. I have never purchased a foreign vehicle in my life. Nothing. And listen, I heard this as a kid, and I wasn't even Republican, nothing like that. I heard a man walking down the street and he said, yeah. He said, oh, I don't buy foreign cars. I said, why you don't buy a foreign car? He said, because I buy American made because I want to keep American people working. Right? Now I said, oh, okay. That makes sense. It ain't no political view. It just made sense. So I tried to buy all my vehicles that I've owned I buy American. You know, when I go into the store, you know what I try not to do, and I rarely do it unless there's no other option. I do
Okay.
not use self checkout. You know
Okay.
why I don't use self checkout? I will stand in a long line so somebody else rings up my product. You know why? Because I want to make sure they have a job.
I respect it.
I'm not out there preaching this. This is just what I do personally. So I understand the whole all of this concept, but what people don't get is this: is that the government is not the answer to what we have. We are the answer to our own. We are the solution to our problem.
Do you ever work a union job?
One time in my life, and I'll never do it again.
What kind of job? What kind of work? Construction?
No, and when I worked for a union job, I was working in food service. It was the first job
Okay.
I ever had in my one of the first jobs I ever had in my life. And the thing that pissed me off about the job was my boss wanted to give me more money. But he said because you're in the union, they have a structure. So in order for me to I was outperforming the people that I worked with, but I couldn't get more money because they had a union structure. So I said, okay. And listen, at the point, I was even a shop steward because I wanted to understand more. After I left that job, I said I would never take a job working for the union. I want to be a man controlling my own destiny. Every job that I've ever worked on after that, I've always made more than my counterparts. You know why? Because I go to work every day on time, before time. Number two, I don't compete with nobody. I compete with myself, and I do extremely well as I possibly can on the job. Not because I care about the job, is because I always had something going on in the background that I don't need no disruptions. Because I'm always going to take what I make and make sure that I can get it to do anything. I was in the real estate business. You get what I'm saying? So the reason why I say this is because I know where I grew up at. I've been through a lot of stuff. And I want people to understand that the government is always going to be the problem. If you're smart enough and you're wise enough, you don't need them for the stuff that we think we need them for. The reason
I
why the
think
educational system is so bad in these areas is because the schools don't teach trade no more.
hmm,
This is the
I agree.
problem. So again, a young man asked me, he said, well, they don't teach that in school. You know what I told him? I said, go find a contractor that you know doing that work and ask him, can you help, and don't want no money enough just so you can learn the trade. Why? I said, because if you learn how to trade, you'll be able to fish on your own. You'll be able to do it and make your money on yourself. So if they won't give it to you, you find a way to find out for yourself. That's self-motivation. And I'm not saying, listen, I don't agree with a lot of government stuff. I think they need to be out the way. This is the reason why I supported and voted for Trump, is because I don't want government there. I understand the beauty in competition.
I think um, that no successful leading global superpower has ever created an industry without the government investing in that industry first.
Let
And
me
that
get on.
is a fact. I don't think there's a single one. Every single leading superpower in the world has invested heavily into their productive work industry. The
Right.
United
And
States,
the
and
whole
during
so-called purpose behind that is to incentivize them to create a labor force, because the government is really not so much interested in the business. It's the large labor force, which is tax revenue, that they're interested in. So
and
they're initially investing in it, but what people seem to miss is this: is that it's to incentivize these corporations to create jobs and create communities that people can work and provide and take care of their families. So I
right,
don't see nothing wrong with that part. The problem
but the
is this.
problem But the problem is that the government no longer does that. And the majority of the income in America now is financialized. That everything that comes out of America is financial services. It's the stock
I
market.
agree,
It's
and it's a problem.
overinflated. It's overinflated value for not
Right,
generating anything.
right,
And
right,
the simple
and I
fact
agree
is
with
that we need to invest our money back
you. Right,
into our communities, back into trades,
I
back
agree.
into
But that was the
people
reason
learning.
why he wanted to push the tariffs, is to encourage,
But he's
incentivize
not
them
doing that.
to build.
But you
They are
can't show
doing
me
it. Listen,
where. Show me
listen.
where.
All right, this is
Maybe
what
I'm mistaken. Show me where the trades
do you have.
are
Do
an
you have a
active part of.
Do you have a account on True Social?
I don't. I
This is
don't.
what I would suggest you do. This is just a suggestion. Go
Okay.
set up an account with True Social, right? And only follow the White House. And just that's it. Now, once they post up, because they post all the time, man, it's sometimes even annoying. Then instead of listening to the news and all this other people that got all this information, that way you get a direct source of what they're saying, and then you can do your own whenever you got time. Go do your own. And my thing is this: I had to pull myself out of the noise, and I had to go do it with it myself. Like I'm gonna go get my information. I don't care about Republicans. I don't have no Republican friends. I don't have no Democratic friends. I don't care about none of that stuff. I look at it from a logical perspective. You get what I'm saying? And this is why I think the way that I think. This is not someone encouraging me or talking to me. I talk to anybody. People that know me personally, they'll tell you, no, that bro, most of the time, 99% of the time, he by himself. He don't have a group of people that I sit around and let them encourage me and try to feed stuff into me. I don't do that. My thing is, I look at the real world when I'm out there. When I talk about investing, the reason why I talk about dividend stocks on my account is on my business is because that is the least risky investment that you could possibly do. Because if they're paying out a dividend, they're more likely that company is profitable. So I always tell people, listen, if you want to offset the cost of your living, it's going to take you a long time to do it, especially if you ain't got a lot of money. But if you never do it, you're never going to get the benefit of it. It took me 4 years before it started to outpace inflation. You get what I'm saying? Between what I had real estate, between what I had money-wise, what I had investment-wise, job, now it took me 4 years to position myself. This is where people got to understand. The United States government, they always project a certain amount of inflation every single year. There is a percentage of inflation we're going to get every year. The key to it is to find a way to outpace financially inflation. This is where people seem to miss it at. I'm only talking from a financial perspective. I'm not talking about healthcare, none of that other stuff. I'm just talking financial. Find investments that will help you to outpace inflation. And the more you offset the cost of living above inflation, and here's where we make a mistake financially. When we see space with our money, we start going and putting it and buying stuff that's worthless. We put our money into all of these liabilities and we don't accumulate assets. Investments are assets. Anything that makes you money is an asset to you. Anything that costs you money is a liability. So we have a tendency to go focus so much on a lot. Oh, I want that nice car. I want this. I want that. I want this. I want that. A home, if you live in it, is a liability because you're going to consume all the cost of owning that home. A house that you buy and you rent out is an asset. Why? Because it has the potential to bring in income and money. So if you live in a country with all of these opportunities for you to make money and to do all of this stuff, take advantage of it because you're in America. Don't let them tell you, don't let them give you all the excuses because the excuses you're going to have 1,000 of. Your time is the most valuable thing you have in your life. There is nothing in this world that will match the value of it. When people say time is money, that's bullcrap. Time is not money because you can use money. I mean, you can use your time to make money, but you can't use money to buy time. You just can't do it. Time is extremely valuable. You got to use your time wisely. Go ahead, bro. Sorry.
I respect what you're trying to do, trying to educate people, make them financially solvent, and put them in a place where they individually can beat the system. And what I'm saying is, I think that we have to actually collectively demand that our system serve us. That like, and that we can't do that in individual stock investments, and that we need to create a different mindset in people to demand that our government actually apply the taxes that we pay into our social
How you going to
good,
demand?
and to we need to either like, well, the Second Amendment is the Second Amendment for a reason, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
tyranny,
All right. So now,
taxation without representation.
I
I
agree
mean,
with you.
like you gotta throw
So
up the
now,
blinkies if things don't go the way
where we're
that they're
supposed to
supposed
here,
to, then our
if we're
government is not in a place to and that is the point that like we have been in a place where our government doesn't serve us, that we have been taxed
I agree.
without being represented effectively, and
Right.
that we need to be having conversations about how we actually move that needle. Like either there's direct democracy where we're voting for the things that we actually need and
Well,
getting
United
rid
States of
of.
America is not a democracy. We're a constitution.
Well, I
Okay.
mean that
We're a little bit
we're
of a
voting.
democracy entity, but I get what your point.
Right, right. But like my argument is just that like we need to start having conversations um about having to invest and make all the right choices about our own individual lives and talk about how our social good is being represented by our so-called representatives in a way that actually addresses our material needs. And that like we are not having those conversations because I think we're all looking at our own situations and saying that these things are things that we need to do for our own families and our own
You
selves
said
and not
you
talking
said a
about like
thousand words right there.
yeah,
You
I'm go ahead.
listen. You said a thousand. Again, you don't understand. This is where I say the strategy of it. And I agree with you 100% on that one. Is that the distraction is keep everybody mindset focused on their own issues, right?
Right.
Keep them so bogged down with their own lives and all of their problems while we continue to do what we're doing. And listen, I'm not blaming one particular party on that part because I don't
Both of
particularly care for no politician. I just don't.
them.
You don't get to a $38 trillion deficit with responsible people. You get that with irresponsible people. You
That's a
don't
fact.
get unnecessary handling of bad handling of firearms from responsible people. You get it from irresponsible people. So for all those that have been here there for years, Democrat, Republicans, they all need to go because they don't know what they're doing. This is
Well,
my point. I understand. Listen, I can tell you if I go into a business and I see enough of it within the first 10 minutes, I can tell you how long that business is going to last and how long it's going to not. Because I understand I understand how our economy works. See, a lot of people will sit there and they'll go, oh, this and that, and that. I understand it. And my thing is this: I want the American citizens to do great. I don't give a darn about politicians. Now, I want American citizens to do great. I can either waste my time talking about a whole bunch of dumb, blah, blah, blah. Or I can sit back and say, listen, bro, listen, you are the first person that I ever let on my show, ever outside of people that I deal with.
well,
And
I
here's the thing,
appreciate you, bro. I
listen,
really
and I
do,
appreciate
man.
you coming on, bro.
I appreciate you having me, bro. I really do,
Listen,
man. Like this
I
has
love
been
it.
great.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I want to tell you, bro, I
Well,
appreciate
hopefully
you
you let
coming
more
on the
people
show.
learn. Hopefully you let more people
Listen,
learn. That's
I appreciate you
been
coming
a
on the
blast,
show.
man.
I thank you
Thanks for
so,
having
so
me, man.
much. I know your time is valuable. I don't take it for
Yeah,
granted,
I
bro.
gotta go, but thank you so much, man. I really
Hold on one
appreciate it.
second. I want to let you
Yeah,
know this. If you ever want to come back, you're welcome
yeah.
back.
I
And that's real
appreciate it,
talk.
man.
Real talk, man. Appreciate
That's
you, man.
love, man.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you, man. Hey, man. Have a good one, bro.
You too, man. God bless you.
All right. You too.
That was amazing, man. That was amazing. I appreciate the brother coming on. I appreciate it. Like, here's the thing, and this is what I always say on my show. For those that follow my channel, please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Joyce, been there for a while. Lizzie, how you doing? God bless you. God bless you. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for coming in. That was amazing. And here's the thing: I never really invite people on my show, um, because here's the thing: if anybody understand, I don't want nobody coming on here doing no crazy stuff. So I'm very reluctant to let people on my show. So, but I said, you know, and I had this thought for the last maybe week or so. I said I want to invite people on the show, but I don't want people coming on because I had people that come on, and if anybody knows StreamYard, you know you can see the person before they actually come up here. And I've had the no, you know what I mean. And then that's the reason why I just say I'm not going to let nobody on my show is because they doing. Listen, if anybody do YouTube, y'all know what I'm talking about. And I don't even want to get into nasty, perverted stuff. You see it on the screen before you are like, yeah. See, this is why I just can't. So I want to say to my brother, I appreciate him coming on there, man. That was a great conversation. I think he made a lot of good points. And I'm not gonna say we don't agree on everything, but I think he made a lot of good points. And I'm glad that he came on the show. I'm glad he was willing to take the risk of coming on having a conversation. The one thing I don't want to do, and I always have to check myself, is I don't want to sorry about that, y'all. I don't want to be that person that discourage people to say what they feel. And that's something you have to learn how to control. And even me, sometimes I have to learn how to control I don't want to discourage people from saying what they want to say. I don't care, and I always say this to you people. I don't care if we agree, disagree, but we got to be able to have these conversations. And I'm glad he came on the show. I'm glad we had a conversation about it. I will definitely welcome back to the show. I appreciate it very, very much. I really do. Yeah, and I don't want to argue in session. That's my whole point. I don't want to argue. I talk loud because I just talk loud. That's just the way I talk. I'm not arguing with nobody. I'm not mad. I'm not angry. That's just the way I am. Yeah, and I agree. I don't have to agree with everybody's saying, but I appreciate it. But at the end of the day, I got to get ready to get up out of here. I'm sorry, y'all. Let me run this commercial real quick.
Fellas, ladies, you looking for lotions? You looking for beard oils? But unfortunately, everything you get from mainstream got chemicals in it and it's probably killing you? No problem, we got you. Go check out my people from Top to Bottom Hair and Skincare. That's Top to Bottom Hair and Skincare. www.top2bottom, B-O-T-T-U, the U is for unique, M.com. Tell them I sent you.
Sorry about that. I was choking on something, man. Man. Oh, man. When you swallow, you know how you naturally swallow and they go down the wrong way. Next thing you know, you had to run a commercial to save my life. But anyway, I'm getting ready to get up out of here. Y'all have a blessed, wonderful day. Make sure y'all take advantage of the Top to Bottom hair and skincare product. The link to their products is on my channel. Do me a favor, check them out. You get a 15% discount on all your purchases of $35 and up. And that's real talk. This was a great show. I think it was one of the best shows I've had in a while. Appreciate my brother for coming on. Hopefully we get a chance to talk again. And y'all have a blessed, wonderful day. I'm out of here. Make sure y'all use the OG Network. AOG, the net for the product is OG Network 26. That's OG Network 26. If you go on the website, it's all located on my channel. And you make a purchase of $35 and up, you get a 15% discount on all your purchases. Every single one of y'all have a blessed, wonderful day. I gotta go because I got bills to pay. Y'all have a blessed, wonderful day. I'm out of here.
Fellas, ladies, you looking for lotions? You looking for beard oils? But unfortunately, everything you get from mainstream got chemicals in it and it's probably killing you? No problem, we got you. Go check out my people from Top to Bottom Hair and Skincare. That's Top to Bottom Hair and Skincare. www.top2bottom, B-O-T-T-U, the U is for unique, M.com. Tell them I sent you.